Hello, hello, hello. How are you guys doing this evening? Somebody said that the first 6 seconds of my video is their favorite. I thought that was so nice. Hello, hello, hello. To you, specifically. I was just reading the comments on my vlog before I left to go vlog. It is currently 1:38 a.m. and I am wide awake. I have a little bit, well, really nothing left of this coffee now except for some ice. And then I brought a big water with me. And yeah, and I'm ready to vlog. I always think about before I start vlogging, I'm like, I wonder where this vlog will go tonight. I never have any idea once I start vlogging what I'm gonna end up talking about. I do have to say this though. Well, first of all, I think I need to turn on the humidifier in our bedroom because I woke up and my skin was so dry and I've been drinking so much water. And I don't know if the more water I'm drinking, it's making me like feel more dehydrated. I don't know what is going on, but I woke up and my skin felt just so dry. And then I was trimming my nails in the bathroom and they aren't brittle, but they kind of feel like they are. It's like, I don't know how to explain it. But I looked at them, they're completely fine. Do you guys ever feel that way? Like in the winter? So Alex went to this thing tonight with Sarah and 2 of his other friends, and he asked me if I wanted to go, and I just didn't feel like going. It was like this low-key fundraiser thing at this bar, and I just didn't want to sit around. They sat around there for like 4 or 5 hours. I just was like, I don't really feel like it. So they went to that tonight. And he came home first after work and we hung out for a while. And then he went to that. And then while he was gone, I finished uploading my videos. And then I watched, I'm trying to finish that Let It Snow movie. It's not horrible. Here's the thing with it. It's a cute movie. I've been trying to figure out who this girl is. I keep on watching it and I'm like, this girl looks so familiar to me. This girl looks so familiar to me, right? I can't figure out who she is. And so tonight I finally looked on the cast to see who it was, and she's Sabrina in Sabrina the Teenage Witch on Netflix. But anyway, the movie is not bad. Like, if I had seen it and not read the book, I think I would really like the movie. It's a cute movie. But the problem is it's so completely different than the book. And I was really excited to read or to watch a good adaptation of the book. I thought it would be a pretty similar adaptation. And the reason why I thought that was because the book Let It Snow it's by Lauren Miracle, Maureen, Johnson and Lauren Miracle, John Green, and Maureen Johnson. I don't know which order. I just know that John Green is in the middle. His story was in the middle. But it's a pretty simple story. It's 3 Christmas stories that happen simultaneously in the same town, and they kind of overlap each other, and then they come to this huge conclusion at the end, and everybody kind of like knows each other, and so like all 3 stories kind of merge at the end. It's done with 3 different authors. It's done really well, actually. And it's each idea is very simple. They're not deep. And if you were going to do a movie over it, you could even have all 3 ideas going at the same time, and you could just like skip from one scene to the next and back and forth. It would have been a very simple movie to film. So why they changed everything? I mean, the only thing they kept really was that there's like a Waffle House in that, which is called something else, Waffle Castle or something, I don't know. And then they kept some of the names of the characters. Well, they kept the names of most of the characters, but the characters' names don't fit who they were in the book. Like their characteristics and their personality traits and their storylines are like completely different in the movie. So if you've read the book and you're like trying to follow it whatsoever, it doesn't do that. So I would have really liked, I think, the movie had I not. It's one of the first book-to-movie adaptations that I wish I had watched the movie first. Because I usually don't. Because if I watch the movie first, then I'm just really, like, I don't feel like I need to read the book because it's already ruined for me, so why read the book? But this is so completely different that I wish that I had watched the movie first and not read the book. And it's hard to say which one I think is better because I'm comparing them to each other. And the book, they're just so completely different. Like, they're really different. Like, when I was talking about it on my vlog and people would say, this camera is kind of slipping tonight. When I would talk about it on my vlog and people would say, oh, you know, like, the movie is so different. I hope you're not disappointed and whatever. I didn't really know what they meant. You know, like the John Green book, Paper Towns, ended completely different than the book did, which was disappointing to me because I thought the ending in the it didn't make any sense to me why they chose the ending that they did, because the ending in the book was actually a better ending than the one that they picked in the movie, and both of them would have been very easy to film, so I didn't understand why they went with what they did. And it's the same situation. It's almost kind of like they made it more difficult by going in the direction that they did, if that makes sense. So I don't know. It's still a very sweet Christmas movie. If you haven't read the book, let us know. You'll probably love the movie. It's on Netflix. It's a good, like, you know, family kind of movie, and it's sweet and it's funny, and so it is what it is. But yeah, I watched that, and then, well, I didn't watch all of it. I'm probably halfway through it total by now. I don't even know how far I am along with it. And well, like, for example, one thing that really bothers me about the movie is they made this whole character that's, like, super famous, and it literally, it takes away kind of the whole meaning from that storyline. When, like, that storyline had a lot to do with, like, humor with religiosity, of which they still do that. Like, they do it in kind of an interesting kind of way, with, like, this church scene, but, like, I don't know why they made him be a famous character. Like, I get it, how it's playing out, but I don't think it makes it any more endearing or likable to the viewer. Like, I don't think it makes it to the viewer like, okay, I really like this character more because he's a famous person. Like, I think if it had just, which in the book it's a girl, it's not a guy, that it's switched. I don't know. I just wish they hadn't switched stuff up. I wish they had just filmed it the way that it was written in the book, because I thought the way that it was written in the book was so well done, but that's just my 2 cents about it. It is what it is. So yeah, I'm super thirsty tonight. I don't know why. I chugged a bunch of water in the kitchen, and then I filled this whole thing up with cold water and brought it to, I was gonna bring 2 of them actually. And then my coffee is basically just like a little bit of ice at the bottom now. So what did I do today? Well, I had this recovery commitment thing at noon that I did, and then what did I do after that? Oh, I was, like, really dragging after that. Oh, I finished Dragula last night, finally, and then I started watching a little bit of the reunion on Hey Queen. Well, I watched the Look at Her on Hey Queen. So I don't know, maybe I finished the finale the night before, but I don't think so. And then, I also, well, you guys, my vlog was a little bit longer last night. Did you notice? Thank you. Because the night before was 20 minutes, which I felt horrible about. I drove around and listened to Dope Sick last night. Okay, let's talk about Dope Sick for a second. Well, let me finish telling you what I did for the day, and then I'll talk to you about Dope Sick, because I actually had more of it to listen to than I thought, so I listened to quite a bit of it last night. So I was kind of dragging today. I was tired. I just think this cold weather is really just taking it out of me. It really, really seems cold outside in a way. Like, it feels like it just went from like 60 and 50 to like 30 real quick. It's 25 right now. It just seems really cold every day that I go outside. But somebody was laughing at me tonight because I went to the post office to mail some stuff, and I had Birkenstock sandals on. This guy goes, "Aren't your feet cold?" And I was like, "No, not really. My feet really aren't ever cold. My feet are pretty warm. And unless it snows, I typically always have like Birkenstock sandals or, you know, shoes without socks on." But anyway, what did I do after that? I feel like I ran like 50 errands today, but now I can't remember anything that I did. So I left there, then I went and got my coffee. Went to the bank. Their systems were down. And then I went to the bank. I don't remember what I did after that. Oh, then I went to the post office. And I had to go to the post office twice today to mail stuff. And then, I went to Meijer to get some gift cards, but the line for the self-service line was too long. And I was like talking to friends on the phone the whole time. So then I came home, and I got home and I started filming some videos. And filmed a drama video, and then I filmed a review video with me and the dogs doing the 2019 dog advent calendars. That was really fun to do. What is that underneath there? And then, yeah, that was fun. And then I did, I wanted to do a Peterisms video, and then I was going to do a car vlog for a booktube. But Alex came home, and so he got home like right before I was going to start filming for my Peterisms videos. So he got home at like, I don't know, 4:45 or 5, something like that. And he had to leave at like 7:45 to go pick up his friend to go meet Sarah. So he and I just kind of hung out, and I was like, I'm not going to make any more videos. So I just kind of like uploaded the videos, and I just like waited. And then I don't know if I talked about this, but I bought this huge wreath that's like all decorated from Costco, and I also bought like this like spruce and like white birch, is that what it's called, stick that and it has got like cranberry. It's like really pretty, winter berries or whatever those are, and it's like this big potter. It's like probably 3 or 4 feet high. And so I had bought these little like twinkle lights, you know, the kind that you put like a battery in them. It had like 4 rolls of them in this container. So I bought those to put around everything because I wanted our lights. I wanted our front porch to look really pretty and Christmassy this year. Like, I never do that for Christmas. Neither one of us really does anything for like the Christmas to front. We just, one year, well, we have these like reindeer things in the basement, but we don't ever bring them out anymore because typically if you do, they're just sitting there on the dirt or mulch of our walkway because it doesn't snow until after Christmas, and then they just don't look very pretty. You know what I mean? So those are just in the basement. I actually just need to get rid of those, give those away or something. So our neighbors had done their bushes and stuff, and they have a wreath in their window that they hung like outside, and they have all these like multicolored lights that are real pretty. I was actually talking to her about it today, and she was like, oh yeah, she was like, I keep on wanting to turn around and go back the other way, and I keep on forgetting. So she was like, oh yeah, we bought those things just that you throw over the bushes. And I was like, well, they look really nice. So I was like, okay, it's the 6th of December. I've got to get this stuff up. So, or I'll just not enjoy it, you know, this year. Because like every other year, I don't put my Christmas tree up till late. I don't really enjoy anything, you know, whatever. I think Alex actually put the Christmas tree up last year and surprised me. And I wouldn't have even remembered that, except for I think somebody put it in the comment section of one of the videos. So anyway, I went out there and I started putting it on this wreath. And then I have had such a hard time hanging stuff to get this wreath to hang on the wall. And the other night, so many people gave me suggestions of like double-sided this and whatever to hang it, and these hooks that will go on. So I went to Meijer and I bought what everybody recommended. I don't even remember what it's called, but it was the same thing but a different brand. it was like Command was the brand or something. I don't know, but anyway, it was like these heavy duty hooks that you like hang on the wall and you press them on the wall, and then they like, when they peel off, it doesn't like peel paint off the wall and whatever. So I got those, and I had that up there, and I was like wiring the lights around the wreath and all this kind of stuff, and I put the wreath up. And so I went inside to get the other lights, and like Alex went outside to look at it, and he goes, your wreath just fell down. And I was like, seriously? And he goes, let me just get a hammer and nail, and I'll just put, and I go, well, I don't know if it's gonna split the wood or whatever. And he goes, well, there used to be a nail out there because we did hang stuff from there, remember? Now, I don't remember that. And he was like, yeah, I think like your mom used to hang something out there and there was a nail, and we took the nail out because they painted over it. He goes, I'll just try to find the same place and I'll put it in there. So he did that, and we hung the wreath, and then I put the lights all through like the tree, the spruce tree and stuff, and then he put the lights in this, like we have this lantern thing out there now. It looks so pretty, you guys. It looks like country Christmas. It's so pretty. I'm really happy with it. So, and it's a lot too. It isn't just like one little thing. It looks really, really pretty. Okay, I'm gonna put this over here. So yeah, that was that. And then we hung out and just kind of talked about our day and whatever. And then so we didn't have to put the dogs in the house. Well, they're a little crate. I ran to the post office so that I could mail this package that I had put together while we were sitting there. Oh, I'm trying to get these review things out that people have won on the review channel. I'm trying to get them out to them. So that, like, I mean, if somebody wins it, I try to get it out like the next day or two. I don't want people to have to wait for all this kind of stuff. People have been so nice about winning that review channel and everything, but so I've been trying to get those out within like a day or two, so people don't have to wait. And I'm keeping like a list of everybody that wins and all that kind of stuff. And then I'm like, I check it off like when I send it. And then I've asked them all to contact me like when they receive it. So I know they've received it and I can just cross it out completely. And then I'll be like, okay, that one's done. And make sure that everybody gets what they won, because I want to make sure that, you know, it's like done efficiently and all that kind of stuff. Because it's a lot of I mean, I'm doing like 30 giveaways or something like that. I don't know how many, but it's a lot, and it's easy to lose track of it. So I'm like having to keep on top of it. Even just kind of trying to figure out like, okay, well, who do I go to find out the winner? What video do I go to today? So every day I sit down and I write down like, you know, 12/6. And then what did I give today? I can't remember what I gave away today. I think a $25 gift card to Visa. And then, is that what I gave away today? I think so. And then, you know, I just put like a dash, and then whoever's name it wins. When I pick the winner, I write it in there. So yeah, so that's been that. And then I came back, I went to Meijer again. And did I go to Meijer before? Yeah, I went to Meijer again. Oh, that's when I bought the Visa cards. And then I also got a frozen cheese pizza. I did not eat the whole thing. I didn't, but I fired that up while I was watching Let It Snow. And then I watched that. And then at about 10 o'clock, I laid down, and I was going to lay down till like 11 or 11:30. And I talked to Tanya earlier too. She was shopping in this like small little square in Noblesville with her friend. And then I talked to Valerie earlier too. I've talked to a bunch of people today, but anyway, I for a second got real nervous. I was like, did I forget to do? I was like, no, that's next week. I was like, thank God, because I thought I forgot. But anyway, where am I at on time? Yeah, so that was my day. And then I laid down and I took a fantastic nap. But I woke up and just like my skin is so dry. And I mean, but not really. Like, I don't know how to explain it. It's not like it doesn't, it feels dry, but it's not dry. And it's like my nails, like, they look completely fine. But like when I went to go trim them, it was like they felt brittle. I don't know how to explain it. We usually turn a humidifier on though in our winter because it does get kind of dry. So, what else? Oh, dope sick. Let's talk about that for a second. Okay, so I have to say this, first of all, that yesterday I said that Dope Sick is an important book, but it reads like a textbook, which is true, to some degree. To some degree, it's true. I don't really know how to feel about it. I have really mixed feelings. I mean, as far as like a good book, like the research is phenomenal. The weaving of the important information, and what I mean by that is like the statistics and the research information and all that kind of stuff, woven in with the personal stories, is very well done. It just reads like, I don't know, like a script to like a 2020 episode, if that makes sense, you know? It's not like anything else we've read in the year of true crime. But I found myself last night, like, well, first of all, I found myself talking about it at length on here last night. And then, when I was listening to it last night, I just got, I don't know, something happened to me last night while I was listening to it. Like, it switched at some point, and I got, like, real intrigued with it, and was just really taken with the book. And, I started thinking about, like, I was telling a friend of mine about this today, that's also sober, and I was saying, you know, like, what's weird about it is that she's talking about these cases, and like when she's talking about these people, like I have other people's faces in my head. Like they're reminding me of people that I knew, and stories that I know and that have happened, and people that I've actually known in my own life, right? So it's difficult for me to read, and I said that kind of a little bit yesterday, but I think that the book could be personal because it takes place in rural Virginia. The book could be personal to anybody that's reading it. So I don't know, like last night it really switched for me. I think the whole beginning, which was really important to the book, the whole beginning of the book talks about the lawsuit that these people have with this Purdue pharmaceutical, who are the ones that, I think they're the ones that patented it, but they owned OxyContin. I think they still do. I don't know, I'm not to that point in the book if it goes under new ownership yet. But anyway, and so, in the family that like owns the company and stuff like that, and talking about how rich they are. Oh, hold on a second, it's gonna stop. Okay. This family that owns the Purdue pharmaceutical, just to put this in perspective for you, before the company bought the rights to OxyContin, they had some other things that they did, and yes, they were probably very wealthy, okay? They did like ear cleaners or something like that. I can't remember what they did, but it was nothing like seriously pharmaceutical like this, right? And then they owned the rights to OxyContin, and within the 10 years that they had owned it, they surpassed the Bushes, the Mellons, and the Rockefellers. And by, I think it was the year 2012 or 2013, they were like past the Bushes, Rockefellers, and Mellons as far as richest families on Forbes' list of richest families in the United States because of OxyContin, right? Like, that's a big deal. And basically, people's deaths were financing this family, who basically, when the company had to take responsibility, they put 3 of their biggest execs up, including one of the doctors, I think that was like the chemical researcher on OxyContin or something like that. He was, like, they had to take the fall for it. The family didn't even come to the court for the case. Just, I don't know. And then, you know, these people had to sit before the families, and these families who have such personal stories, obviously, because they've lost, most of them have lost all these, it's mostly mothers that have lost kids, you know, and parents that have lost kids. And it's just so tragic. The numbers of the deaths are just unbelievable. But one of the things that Beth Macy, the author, does that is so fantastic is that she goes in and these stories, well, she starts talking about this community, right? It's called like Broken Hills or something. I don't know what it's called. I never remember names of cities and books. But anyway. And it's basically where like a lot of like rich kids live, whose parents have money and they can steal from them, and their parents can afford to send them to treatment facilities. And so there's this whole dichotomy that is like set up in the book between like the richer side of town and the poorer side of town. But that addiction is affecting both sides of the town. And then there was this whole storyline, I mean, and this is not fiction, I mean, this is true. There's this whole storyline of, you know, this kid that is responsible for his friend's death and his change, and then what happens later, and it's just really interesting. And then it goes into this whole drug bust thing, and like this whole setup, and the cops that are involved. And what's crazy about it is when you like listen to the book, right? And it goes in and it talks about the introduction of OxyContin into our country. And it talks about like how it came into our country, like not into our country, but into like how people started taking it, because, you know, they were prescribed it as a painkiller and these were the reasons why. And then it goes and it shows, you know, and then it changes, and then they change the safety thing on it. And then they go in and talk about, you know, hydrocodone and oxycodone and all these different things, right? And then how they change the thing over to make it less habit forming, or not habit forming, but abuse, that you can't abuse it. And at the same time that she's telling the story, and she's telling the story about the lawsuits and the doctors that are involved and the people that have died and the numbers, and we're now up to, you know, somebody every 8 or 9 minutes that's dying from an overdose, and hundreds of thousands of people have died from an opioid overdose in our country. And, you know, it's going up and up and up. And sure, some of that is from heroin that happened before OxyContin. But, and this one girl says in the book, she says that she doesn't think anybody would use heroin if OxyContin were available, because with OxyContin, you always knew what you were going to get. And so it was like the perfect drug for the addict, you know. And they go in and they explain all this, and you think about it, and you think all because of this one pill, this entire, oh, that is, look at all these lights lit up over there. My God, it's beautiful. This whole entire tragedy and crisis occurred that never had to occur. It never had to happen, right? And that these doctors stand behind the whole idea that OxyContin is like the best pain reliever in the entire world. Which, okay, and here's the thing that's really sad about it is that for, you know, long-term, like people that suffer from severe pain and have to do pain management, that cannot be, you know, that they can't have non-narcotic pain management. Because I used to work with doctors back in the day that, like, I would go to these symposiums and stuff, and, you know, so I've talked about this on here before, so since it's, you know, part of this book. So they talk about buprenorphine, and buprenorphine is Suboxone. So I was, in the state of Indiana, one of the first people that worked with doctors that I was trained to do that, okay, to work with doctors with buprenorphine and Suboxone back in the day when it first came out. And it was Suboxone, which is what do you call it? It's like the brand name of buprenorphine. When it first came out, it was for people that could not that had multiple attempts at trying to stay sober off of opioid use, and they couldn't stay sober. And what was interesting to me listening to this book and working with all of the people that I had back in the day with these doctors, you know, I would sit there with doctors while, you know, anyway, one of the things that they said in there, the statistics they cited, were something to the degree of, that for every addict that gets put on Suboxone, and then, okay, there's this whole stigma for a lot of people that are on Suboxone that go to 12-step meetings, because this won't just take it away. You know, if you talk about an addict that has internal issues, but you take the drug away like you would take alcohol away, it doesn't fix what's going on with the side of them, right? So most of these doctors and counselors and people suggest that if you're going to be on Suboxone, you also attend a 12-step program, but then there's a stigma with people that are on Suboxone that, are they really working a 12-step program if they're on a maintenance drug? I don't really care as long as we're saving lives. It's none of my business what somebody does if they choose to come to a 12-step meeting. It's none of my business. I just want people to live. I don't want people to die anymore from this disease of addiction. So, but she says in there something to the effect of that for every addict that gets put on Suboxone, like, the rate is crazy. And so this is the other thing, and I don't know if she's at this point because I am not there yet. She talks about it in the book, but, you know, now in 2019, well, I mean, we have for 5 or 10 years seen that a lot of people are abusing Suboxone now. And so Suboxone even isn't. There's a lot of people that are very, very successful in Suboxone, and I personally know and have friends of mine that are very successful in Suboxone, and it's a lifesaver for them. They literally would not be here if it wasn't for Suboxone, right? But there are a lot of people that also abuse it. So God knows what we'll do with that mess, because who knows? And here's my thing. I don't claim to have any of the answers, and I don't think that Beth Macy claims to have the answers. I don't think anybody really claims to have the answers, but let's have the discussion. Can we start having the discussion so we can save people's lives? Because that's what makes me sad, is when I'm, you know, sitting at a meeting and somebody says, did you hear about Judy Smith? Oh, they found her on the floor 2 days ago. Or, you know, I get a phone call and somebody says, you know, like, oh, I just wanted to let you know, like, so-and-so passed. And I'm like, what happened? Well, you know, Monday they went back out, and Tuesday, you know, their mom found them, or Tuesday their husband found them. You know, it's like, that's the life I live. Seriously, that's the life I live, you know? Not a week goes by that I don't hear about that. So, but what she said, something about Suboxone, she said that for every person that gets on it, like, the rate of success is not high on Suboxone, and I thought it was higher than she states, but anyway, she said it's not high, and then people relapse and they get back on it, and it takes, like, somebody to get sober on Suboxone. It was something like 8 years, and she was like, 8 years to get 8 years to get 1 year sober, and she was like, most people just don't have that much time. And I was like, man, that's really scary. If you think about when an opioid addict begins to the time that an opioid addict dies, most of them, how long that takes, it's a lot shorter than 10 years. You know, you just don't see many 60 and 70-year-old heroin addicts. You just don't. So I don't know, the book is interesting. It's opening up my eyes about some things. And my opinion's changed a lot over time, you know, like, I don't know that 30 years ago, well, 30 years ago I wasn't even sober. I don't know that 20 years ago I would have necessarily felt this way, because I just was so, like, 12-step program, 12-step program, 12-step program. I was like, who is that? It's Natalie Cole on the radio. And I do very firmly believe in a 12-step program, because that's what works for me. And she even talks in there about this one woman that is, like, director of, I think, NIDA. So she said something about we're going to have to change the way that we look at philosophies within 12-step programs, because most 12-step programs believe in a just strict 12-step way instead of looking at many different aspects. And I agree with that. Like, a 12-step program has saved my life. I'm extremely, extremely thankful for it. But things are different today. And people are dying at a rate that we've never seen before. And I don't really care how somebody gets sober. I just want them to get sober. If we can get somebody sober and keep them sober, our friends, our family members, our neighbors, whatever, if we can, students, whoever, if you're a teacher, or a coach, if we can get and keep somebody sober, then we have a chance to later get them in a 12-step program, later get them in job training, later get them involved in some kind of spiritual outlet, But that doesn't have to be the first thing. A lot of people just can't stay sober. And, hand to mouth, like they just can't stop using. And it's just, I don't know, she talks a lot about relapse in the book too. She cites some very specific situations about relapse and things that happen with certain people in there. And this one case is just so sad. This kid actually was like doing really well. And then he like gets out and he starts drinking again, and this mom just doesn't want to believe it. She's like, well, I kind of assumed that maybe something was going on. And so this other woman whose son has died, she's like, go to his apartment, which the mom is paying for the apartment. She goes, go to the apartment and make him roll up his sleeves and show you his arms. And the mom doesn't want to do it, but like she goes to his apartment and she sees that like he's been using, there's like bongs out and alcohol, and then she can see that he's got like bags of heroin and needles and stuff. I think that kid ends up dying. I'm thinking that kid ends up dying, but I could be wrong about that. Because he says to her something like, he says something to her like, I want to get sober. I can't remember now what happens after that. But yeah, I don't have a whole lot more to read of it, but it's really pretty good. It's eye-opening, I'll tell you that. And it's depressing kind of at times. Well, it's real depressing. But it's the world that we live in, and I would rather be knowledgeable and know what's going on and be able to speak to it than not know and be, ignorant. My neighbor tonight, oh my God, I love her, but I think I looked out there though and I couldn't see like any cars in her driveway, but her music was so loud. I mean, it was literally pounding in the walls. And her condo isn't 2 stories, it's only 1 story, so I don't know why it was so loud, because when I was trying to sleep, but it was just like, it was kind of, probably, it wasn't like dance music or anything like that, it was like very kind of loungy music, but I could just, it was like, whoa, whoa, it was just like so loud through the wall. I was like, oh my God. And I almost like, we can never really hear anything that comes from either side of our neighbor, so I was kind of surprised that I could hear it tonight. I think it was because I think she was in the garage. Sometimes she goes in the garage and she like says she's real artsy and she paints and stuff. I have a feeling she was out there painting because her garage like kind of aligns with our bedroom, and so I think that it was because she was in the garage, because I almost can never hear her otherwise. This water tastes so good. That sounded like something my mom would say. She'd be like, that water tastes so good. There is this restaurant right there, Northside Social. I haven't been there in forever, but they have like the best mac and cheese in the entire world. So I don't really know what I'm going to do tomorrow. Alex has stuff he has to do during the day, work stuff. And then he has his Friendsgiving thing tomorrow night. I was gonna maybe see if Tanya wanted to do something, but usually by the time that I get done like doing videos and whatever, I just like really don't want to go out and do a whole lot. Maybe I'll do like a facial and take a long shower and do a live stream. It all sounds real great, and then all of a sudden I look at the clock and it's like 9 o'clock, and I'm like, I just want to lay down. Plus, I must just be like in hibernation mode or something like that because it's so cold outside. I just don't remember. My nose is driving me crazy. I keep on meaning to I think like when I trim my beard, like there's like little hairs right here that I don't get that are like right at the top of my nose. I think, and I usually have to go in with like little scissors and clean them, and I need to go in and do that. I downloaded some Christmas books. Are you guys ready? Well, I looked. I may have looked when I was on here last night. I don't know. But I have the Augustin Burroughs Christmas stories, which is called Better Be Nice or something like that. It's like got Santa Claus on the... I think it's him dressed up as Santa Claus on the front of it. And I don't know if I'm going to listen to that first once I finish Dope Sick. But after Dope Sick, I'm going to start listening to holiday books. And I'm going to, like, these holiday books, you guys, are short. I mean, literally, like, the average book I listen to is like 8 to 12 hours. These holiday books are like 4 hours, 5 hours. I'll be finishing them in a day. I mean, I will be finishing these holiday books, and by the end of the year, I'll have read 50 books. Watch. But, what was the Wally Lamb one that I read last year? That one was really good too. Wishing and Hoping or something like that. Wishing and Praying or Wishing and Hoping. And it was Wally Lamb, and he grew up in the going to the Catholic school, and it was all about Christmas time. It was very much like a Christmas story. I may have read it 2 years ago. I don't know. That one was really good too. The Agatha Christie one was actually really good. It's called like A Christmas at something. If you look up Agatha Christie Christmas, it's like the only thing it pulls up. And that was really good. There's Hollyhock Hill where we had Thanksgiving. Everybody keeps on asking me what I thought. I'm like, well, the food was great. The food was incredible, but just the atmosphere wasn't what it used to be. I don't know. And then when we were with Melissa the other night for dinner, because she like met the new owner, and so she was explaining to me like why they changed some of the things, and she's like, yeah, she's like, they went to like diner tables, and because they used to have like every table had like a different place setting, and so it felt like each table that you were at had like different salt and pepper shakers and stuff like that, and they don't do that anymore. And so I was like, she was explaining to me, I'm gonna pull into this bank, but she was no, just go down to this gas station down here. She was explaining to me that they did that because it was new ownership, and the old owners like didn't want them to do that or something. I don't even know. So anyway, I was like, whatever, will I miss it? So, like, I mean, that was part of what made Hollyhock, you know? And made it so great. I'm gonna have to stop and get another bottle of water here in a little bit, because I am going through that. I'm probably halfway done with it already. Yeah, that Agatha Christie Christmas book was good. I've read some really good holiday books. The thing is, well, I think I bought like 5 or 6 because they're all really short. And they weren't too expensive either. God, come on, nose. And then I bought a book. I think it's called The Retreat. It just came out. Or it's coming out next week. I don't know. But I was thinking about maybe reading it while I was on vacation, because it sounds like, or listening to it while I was on vacation. Because it sounds like a good... They compared it to The Woman in the Window and something else. I also need to finish reading... What's that book called? Well, I need to finish reading a lot of books. Let's just put it that way. couple books this year. DNF means do not finish. I wish my hair would look nice. I would take my hat off because my head's kind of hurting from this hat. It's hurting right here. I'm like, what are all the things I want to do before the holidays are done? Caroline was posting pictures of this place called Newfields or something like that. And it's at the Art Museum, Indianapolis Museum of Art. And it's like all these Christmas trees they have decorated. And she was like, my mom would have loved this. She put in the pictures. My aunt would have loved it. It looked beautiful. And like she and her husband and her son and his girlfriend, and they like were walking around, and like her son and his girlfriend had like hot chocolate, I think, or coffee or something, and it just looked really fun. And I was like, oh, Alex and I should do that. That would be really fun to do. So I'm gonna see if he wants to maybe do that someday or some night, or I don't know what the hours are on it. And then there's some places that I want to go through and see the lights. Tanya is not happy about our light situation. God, my nose is driving me nuts. Tanya is not happy about our light situation and how basically they sold all of our lights or gave all of our lights to Conner Prairie, and now you have to pay $14 or $17 to go through there. And I stopped and I asked this woman, I was like, how do you see the lights? And she was like, well, she was like, you can walk through them, and I said, it looks like you can drive through it. She goes, you can take a tractor through there. I thought, a tractor outside in the cold? No, I don't, doesn't sound delightful to me, not one bit. I think I'll pass on that. So anyway, I mean, maybe for a good hayride, but not when it's 25 degrees outside. You get frostbitten toes in your Birkenstock sandals. That's a joke. I wouldn't wear my Birkenstock sandals if I went to that. So anyway, okay. Let me pull up my... Oh God, my nose is driving me nuts. Pull up my holiday books here. And my Audible. My Audible of 5,000 books in the library. Okay. Let's see. Oh, I forgot that I bought John Grisham's Guardians. Okay, my camera died. Well, my camera was at the end. And I started like looking through here. And then like I was on the home thing. And underneath like my book that I'm listening to, it says recommended for you. And it's this book by Beth Macy called Finding Tess. And then I started looking at all of these books that were about, there's like this book called Dreamland, which is about the true tale of America's opiate epidemic, and then Painkiller, which that book is actually referenced in the book Dope Sick. And then there's Dope Sick by Walter Dean Myers, An American Overdose by Christmas Greel, Fentanyl Inc., that would be interesting. There's all of these books that are all about the opioid epidemic. So interesting that there are so many of them. And then it goes underneath here and it says bestsellers. The problem with the bestsellers is that a lot of them are books that, so they do this daily deal. Oh, this is the book that I want to read. It's called The Secrets We Keep. Tell me what you think of this. This is from Reese Witherspoon's book club pick. A thrilling tale of secretaries turned spies, of love and duty, and of sacrifice, inspired by the true story of the CIA plot to infiltrate the hearts and minds of Soviet Russia, not with propaganda, but with the greatest love story of the 20th century, Dr. Zhivago. It tells the story of secretaries turned spies who are tasked with smuggling Dr. Zhivago out of the USSR and into the hands of Russian citizens. You'll get to know Sally and Irina, two spies who risked it all for love and adventure. Doesn't that sound so good? Okay, okay, this is The Retreat. This is not out yet. This comes out next week. I thought I bought it. I guess I didn't. Under the shimmering light of a full moon, newly engaged couple Paul and Cora head home from a dinner party. But when a devastating car accident leaves Cora paralyzed from the waist down, their future together is forever changed. As Cora's depression leads to a dependence on prescription pain meds, Paul turns to the works of inspirational self-help author Gabriel Lawson. Gabrielle Lawson. After learning of the guru's week-long retreat focused on energetic healing, Paul convinces a skeptical Cora to attend. Not long after the group arrives at the retreat center located on a supposed vortex site in the remote Arizona Highlands, strange things begin to happen. All of a sudden, all of the attendees except Cora fall under Gabrielle's charismatic spell. All of the attendees except Cora fall under Gabrielle's charismatic spell, and even Cora cannot ignore the terrifying vision she begins to experience, which test her perception of reality and force her to question their leader's true intentions. Is Gabrielle really an altruistic healer who simply wants to help others, or is she pursuing a much more nefarious agenda? In his debut novel, author and screenwriter Dan Frey delivers... I feel like that name sounds so familiar to me. In his debut novel, author and screenwriter Dan Frey delivers an inventive, heart-pounding psychological thriller that not only skewers alternative spirituality, but also imagines the chilling consequences of following such beliefs to their logical ends. The Retreat is his first novel, and his second, The Future, will be published by Penguin Random Book in 2020. He lives in Los Angeles with his wife Casey and their poodle Winston. Aw. I like cute little author things like that. So, let's hear the books that I bought. Are you ready? Okay. Oh, okay. So I bought this book called Conviction by Denise Mina. Now, since I talk about true crime on here a lot, I thought that I would read this to you guys. I didn't think I was going to buy this book. This is another Reese Witherspoon. So Reese Witherspoon on Audible, she has like her own section. I would love to have this, where she recommends like an audio book of the month, right? So this was, I think, the one for last month, and this is what I bought. Oh my god, you guys, my nose is driving me nuts. Okay. I think this sounds so good. I know Mel is going to want to read this. And maybe this is the one that's supposed to be like The Woman in the Window. Okay, true crime podcast. Okay, this is Reese Witherspoon and Hello Sunshine Book Club pick. A true crime podcast sets a trophy wife's present life on a collision course with her secret past in this thriller from Denise Mina. The day Anna McDonald's quiet, respectable life exploded started off like all the days before. Packing up the kids for school, making breakfast, listening to another true crime podcast. Then her husband comes downstairs with an announcement and Anna is suddenly shockingly alone. Reeling, desperate for distraction, Anna returns to the podcast. Other people's problems are much better than one's own. A sunken yacht, a murdered family, a hint of international conspiracy. But this case actually is Anna's problem. She knows one of the victims from an earlier life, a life she's taken great pains to leave behind, and she is convinced that she knows what really happened. Then an unexpected visitor arrives on her front stoop. A meddling neighbor intervenes, and life as Anna knows it is well and truly over. The devils of her past are awakened and in hot pursuit. Convinced she has no other option, she goes on the run and in pursuit of the truth, with a washed-up musician at her side and the podcast as her guide. Daredevil storytelling at its finest offers plot twists and zigzags that take readers on a wild ride, a giddy celebration of the art of storytelling itself. NPR's Fresh Air. I cannot wait to read that book. I think that sounds so good. So I got that tonight. And then I got, The Good Nurse, because I didn't already have that. That's our December book. And then The Celestine Prophecy. And then I got Richard Paul Evans, Finding Noelle. And that is 4 hours and 31 minutes. A couple years ago, 2 years ago, I think, I read The Mistletoe Secret or something like that. It was cute. And then I got The Mistletoe Promise by Richard Paul Evans. That was 4 hours and 59 minutes. And then I got Murder at Mistletoe Manor. And that's by Holly Tierney Bedford. And it's 3 hours and 12 minutes. I hope I didn't use a credit on that one. And it's about this woman that owns like this Christmas bed and breakfast in Utah. Like, who owns just a Christmas bed and breakfast, right? I think it's Utah or Idaho, and it's like a blizzard, and on like some random Tuesday night, like every room is booked, and it's very much like Clue, you know, or Murder by Death, that movie with Truman Capote, where like everybody comes and checks into this hotel, and she doesn't know why, and then a murder occurs. And then I got The Noelle Diary by Richard Paul Evans. And then I have the Augustin Burroughs book. I was gonna buy more, but I was like, oh, I have the other Augustin Burroughs book, Toil and Trouble, a memoir about now he has apparently come out and said that he's a witch. I didn't know that, but apparently he's a witch now. Oh, my friend Anna, what a horrible book. So anyway, here are some of my new Audible purchases that I bought recently. You guys wanna hear? Okay, besides those. The Andromeda Evolution, that's the Michael Crichton book. I talked about that on here, about how his wife like let this guy write it. The Guardians by John Grisham, that's his new one. Camp Red Moon by R.L. Stine, that was on sale. Toil and Trouble, a memoir, that's Augustin Burroughs' new book. The Raven Boys by Maggie Stiefvater. Made You Up by Francesca Zappia, who wrote Now Entering Adamsville. And what was the other one called? Eliza and Her Monsters. Imaginary Friend by Stephen Chbosky. He's the one that wrote Perks of Being a Wallflower, but it is literally 24 hours and 34 minutes long. Like, that is longer than any Harry Potter book. Ninth House by Leigh Bardugo, who wrote Six of Crows and Crooked Kingdom, and a bunch of the other ones, a bunch of other books, like world building books. But this is about a college girl that is like psychic or something like that. It's 16 hours. Let's see. I think that's all I have that's new since I've been on here. A lot of these I've read. Helter Skelter. God, I still need to finish that. I have less time to read Helter Skelter than that Stephen Chbosky book. And I bought some more credits tonight. It's just that I have 2 credits on there because I bought more credits because I wanted to buy those Christmas books. So I had 2 credits and then I bought 3 credits because you can buy 3 credits for like $11 each, and it's cheaper than like some of the books like with the member price are like $12 or $19, $20. So you can buy credits and the credits are cheaper, and so you get the book for cheaper. Do you get it? And I have the plan where I get 2 books a month, which I probably could slow down to 1 book a month, but I just like, do we care that Peter's hair looks, we don't care, do we? Peter's nose is driving him crazy, his hair is driving him crazy, everything is driving him crazy. Look at my hair, it looks so bad, you guys. I need to have like a pretty woman day, a spa day where I go and I like, you know, get everything done, my hair done, I get a facial, and I make myself feel better, and get dressed up real nice, and then go out on a nice dinner date. That's what I need to make myself feel really nice, and get out of this blue hoodie and sweat shorts and pull it together for a little bit. I said to a friend of mine today, I said, why don't we go check into a hotel? We'll meet up. She doesn't live here. I said, why don't we meet up and we'll go check into a hotel and we'll just sit in the room and order room service all day. My hair looks so bad, you guys. I'm sorry. But she was like, that sounds absolutely perfect.
Canceled.
Whew, I don't even know what that was, but that scared me. I've been having a lot of like things like that happen lately. Like Alexa's been going off lately, Siri's been going off lately around me. I don't know if that's the spirits taking action, but a lot of that has been happening around me lately. Like just randomly. It's like I don't say any specific thing, and it's like, there's MCL Cafeteria. That's the one I was talking about with my grandma that night. Grandma. God, it seems like so long ago since my grandma passed away. It has been. I mean, my grandma passed away when I was like 12 or 13. I don't really want to do a vlog tonight where I get real sad and emotional and talk about sad stuff, so we don't need to go talking about how old I am or how long life's gone by. I had this moment. It was last night or the night before when I was going to bed. And I was laying there. And I was kind of like holding Moo Radley. And I was just like thinking to myself, he is so sweet. We go to bed. Tucker and PP, like now their thing is that when I come into the bedroom to go to bed, like they like wake up and then they're like ready to go, you know? But Boo Radley just kind of sleeps through all of it. And so I was holding him and, like I know I'm not like old, like I know that. But I think being like on YouTube where, you know, the average age of most YouTubers is 20 to 30, young, like low 20s, you know? And so I kind of am thinking I want a Dr. Pepper from McDonald's. I thought I wanted more water, but now I'm thinking that a Dr. Pepper sounds good. And so, you know, I think like because of that world, I do feel older, you know, a lot or often. And I mean, 47 is not old by any means. It's interesting when I see like, you know, pictures of celebrities that are my age or whatever, and they look really good for their ages, or, you know, I'll be like, or they don't have like not one gray hair or one white hair, you know, and I think, well, if I didn't, I probably would look a lot younger than I do. And, you know, if I was thinner and in shape, I probably would look a lot thinner, you know, or a lot younger and all that kind of stuff. And I don't really care about looking younger. Like, it's not about that. But I think sometimes, like, seeing it is a reminder to me of, like, time was going by. I don't know if that makes sense, but it's like, sometimes it just kind of catches me off guard. And I'm like, you have white hair, dude. Like, it's just weird. But I've had it for a long time. I just colored it, you know? But I don't know. And then, but I was laying there in bed the other day, and I was like, I mean, I know I'm not old, but like, I was like you've had a long life, you know? I was thinking about this guy that passed away. I don't know why that, so weird, you know, that it hit me so hard. Like I said in my video the other day, like he and I were never close. We didn't hate each other. We didn't like each other. We weren't close. Like I don't really remember having, but I do remember, like the thing that's weird is like, I remember knowing him and like talking to him and like if somebody like at that time would have said like, I don't know, like, how to even explain it. If somebody would have said, like, are you friends with him? I wouldn't have said, yeah. I wouldn't have said, yeah, he's one of my friends. But we definitely ran in the same circle of 10 to 15 people. But I didn't dislike him either, you know? Even when he ended up dating the guy that I was dating, so he dated this guy right after I after I dated him. Because I went into treatment, and then he started dating him when I was in treatment, right after that or something. And I can remember not even being, like, real upset about that. Like, kind of, maybe a little bit, but not really. And just being like, you know, okay, whatever. And I honestly, like, in the last... Well, I guess I had seen him. So he had a girlfriend of his from high school that I knew in high school. Because I would see her out every once in a while, and she would say, oh, like, you know, it's so good to see you. Like, she and I were friends. Not close friends, but like somebody that I knew that was like in his grade. And I think from like being in an orchestra or something, I don't remember. And so when she would go out with him back in the day, I would see her and like we would talk and stuff like that, and she'd be real excited to see me. So through the years, whenever I've seen her, now she's like married and has kids and stuff, you know, she'd like fill me in on what's going on with him. And I ran into the two of them together somewhere, but that would have been after Alex and I started dating, but probably 8 or 9 years ago. And he and I had a really friendly conversation, and we kind of just like, hey, have you talked to so-and-so and so-and-so? Because he was friends with these people, and I was friends with these people, and then all of these people kind of like mixed in the middle. And I remember I can see myself standing there talking to him and being like, oh, and you're like, what are you doing? And he was like filling me in on what he was doing, and I was asking him about this person and that person, and he was telling me. And we had like a really nice conversation, and so anyway, I don't know. It's just weird to me, like, whenever somebody passes from that era of my life, like, I had a lot of people at that time. Like, I got sober, and then I would say within 5 years after that, a lot of people passed away from overdoses and things like that. There were a lot of people. I mean, literally like 10. People I was close with, people I wasn't close with, people I was just acquaintances with, like, you know, kind of like this guy. And, but there were a lot of people that I knew, and I knew very, very well. Indianapolis is a small town. The gay community back then was very, very small, and there was probably 30 of us that went out on a regular basis, and 10 or 15 of us that hung out all together. So it was a small town, and everybody knew each other. Well, after I got sober, you know, within the next 5 years or so, so many people, I mean, I would hear all the time about somebody had passed away, or somebody had died, or somebody this, or somebody that, you know, it's just tragic stories. And, so I don't know, it's like, it's hard. Like, and I was reading the posts and stuff on Facebook that people were putting on, and, people were like sharing what they remembered about him, and it was, like, I would, like, go to the person, and, like, I would know the name, but when I saw the picture, I was like, that can't be. I'm sure, I mean, I don't look anything like I did, you know, when I was 20 years old, so, you know, I'm sure it's the same, but, like, I would look at them, and I'd be like, oh my God, like, in my head, you know, sometimes it feels like it's been like that. It literally feels like it's been, you know, 5 years or something. But, like, we're older. Like, when I looked at the picture, like, his pictures, like, I didn't even recognize him. You know? Like, what he had looked like in the last couple years. I was like, oh my God, like, he looks completely different. Like, I don't know if I would, like, I don't know, we've just all gotten older. And it's weird, you know? It's weird, I think, when you see each other, and I don't know. I'm sure people are the same way with me when they see pictures of me. They're like, man, he does not look the same as he used to. You know, but it's weird. It's like, and then I think it's a reflection of our youth and, like, time gone by and what happened to all of that, you know? But like I said, I don't want to get real sad about it tonight. I think the other thing that's weird too, like, as you get older, you know, we knock social media and stuff like that, but before people really used, like, Facebook, you know, for what, like, let's just be for real, what older people use it for today, which is basically posting about weddings, funerals, and 500 pictures of their families. You know, it's like, we didn't really know that stuff, and I found out about a very good friend of mine. Like, I feel like I find out what happened to people after the fact and in bizarre ways. I was at a gas station talking to a friend of mine. This is years ago. And I was like, and I was really, really good friends with this one guy, and he had really helped me out. He wasn't an addict, he wasn't an alcoholic, but when I got sober, he kept me very busy, and we did things together, and he drove me places. He just was a really good friend. And we had just, through the years, nothing had happened. We just kind of faded out as being friends through the years, and he had gotten in a relationship, and I had gotten in, you know, 20. But, you know, things had just happened over time. We just kind of went our separate ways. It was just, nothing happened. I didn't, you know, but we were really close during my first couple years being sober. And in fact, my friend that I went to, you know, kindergarten, high school, everything all the way through, she was the one that introduced me to him, and he just was a really good guy. So I was standing up at this gas station one night, and I was talking to this friend of mine. I ran into her, and I was like, oh my God. It was this girl that, like, we'd gone to high school with, and then we ended up working together at this treatment facility randomly, and then now what's so funny is that Alex and I know her and her husband in a completely different way. So, like, she and I keep on, like, I don't know, we must be supposed to be in each other's lives, because we keep on bumping into each other at just the most random, weird times. But this was before all that, before, like, Alex and I like hung out with her and her husband. So she was at this gas station, and I ran into her, and I was like, oh my God, how are you doing? It was so good to see you, blah, blah, blah. Well, it couldn't have been too long before Alex, because it was after we worked together, and it was before I met Alex. So it must have been that 1 year, you know, that whatever, 8 months or whatever. But anyway, from when I quit to when Alex and I started dating in August. But I said to her, I said, do you ever talk to so-and-so anymore? Like, I miss him. I haven't seen him in forever. And she's kind of got this shocked look on her face. And I said, what? And she was like, did you not know? And I go, no, what happened? And she was like, he passed away. And I was like, he did? And she was like, yeah, it was really bizarre. He had some kind of weird disease. I don't really even know to this day what it was. I don't remember. She said, like, he got really, really sick, and like only so many people a year get this disease, and yeah, he was like gone like that. And I was like, really? Oh, hold on a second, it's gonna stop. Okay. And I was like, really? And she was like, yeah. And I was like, well, when did this happen? And she was like 5 or 6 years ago. I was like, what? Like, I had no clue. And I remember getting in my car and just being kind of like, I don't know if devastated is the word. Oh, I wanted to get a Dr. Pepper. I don't know if devastated is the word. I just was kind of like shell-shocked. And then, you know, like when I found out a couple years ago that the guy that I dated, Todd, he had passed away. And then my first boyfriend, Jack, I just, you know, it's like all these people that were my youth are gone. Do I have a dollar bill in here? I do. I think that is thanks to my good Judy Valerie, actually. Don't be looking at my hair. Don't be looking at my hair. Coffee sounds good too.
Thank you, Madonna. We're cash only. How can I help you?
Can I get a large Dr. Pepper, please?
Anything else for you?
Nope, that's it.
Alright, 109. Come to this second window for me.
Hi, here. I don't think I've ever come to this McDonald's when she has not been working. She like must be the only person that works at this McDonald's. Hey, how are you?
How are you?
Good. Thank you. I was just like off in my head for a second thinking about all these friends of mine. I mean, they're gone. It's not like I can't say their names, but Jack was my first boyfriend, and Todd was the boyfriend that I thought I would always, like, I thought we would get together at least some point in our life. God, he was so cute back then. I can still see him. He had real curly hair, and I'm gonna go this way. He always wore green. I don't know why I remember that about him. He wore Woodland from Bath & Body Works, and then I started wearing Woodland from Bath & Body Works too. I've always wanted to go to that studio movie grill. I've never been there. And then my friend Marty, who this girl and I, we would be like, Martin, because his name was Martin, and so we would go be like, Martin. And he was such a good guy. He was just such a great guy. He really, really helped me my first year getting sober. He took me so many places. I mean, so we dated this guy that lived literally 2 apartment complexes down from me, so he would always be like there. And he would like call me up and he'd be like, what are you doing? Do you need to go anywhere? And I'd be like, well, what's going on? He'd be like, well, I'm at so-and-so's house. And I'd be like, yeah, if you could come pick me up, I like need to go do this and whatever. He would take me and just like, no questions asked. So nice. We had so much fun together. We would sit around and watch TV and just joke, and we would watch movies. Never drank around me. Never, we drank so much coffee and smoked so many cigarettes that year together. And I actually have this other friend of mine. This is kind of a sad story. I have another friend of mine who that girl introduced me to as well. She was really good when I got sober as far as but like introducing me to gay guys to be friends with that like didn't party, because I didn't know any, you know. And so I kind of had a little bit of a social life with people that, you know, weren't sober, but they didn't party either. They didn't drink or use drugs at all. But I was friends with this guy, and I mean, I literally spent this other guy hours with him. I think he's doing okay today. I don't know. He doesn't look great when I see pictures of him, but like he was so anti-drug, like so anti-drug. And I just remember feeling so safe with him, you know, and I could say anything, and he just would be like, I just don't want to be around it. I don't like it. Like, it makes me uncomfortable. And he had like a very serious job, like, but it was within the entertainment business. And so we would go to like, you know, a lot of like concerts and stuff like that. And well, not the first year, but like, I guess maybe like the second year we would, because I didn't go do a lot of that stuff my first year. But I always just felt very safe with him, you know. And if we were in any situation where there was alcohol or whatever, he would just be like, no, he was like, my friend and I, we don't drink. And he would always take the lead. And I just felt very safe and very comfortable with him. And, then, you know, I got my job and I started working more. And, you know, one of the things that happens when you're sober, it's like, we don't talk a lot about this, but it's hard, is, you know, you get sober to get your life back. And then you get your life back and you get sober and you're going to meetings and, you know, you got a job and you get in a relationship. And it's like all of these great things, you know, come to pass. You have improved relationships with your family. So you're seeing your family all of a sudden. You know, when I got sober, and then when my mom got sober, you know, my boyfriend and my roommate and I mean, we were over at my mom's house like all the time, swimming in the summer and rollerblading around the neighborhood. And, you know, we would like hang out at the apartment and we would like watch movies. I mean, I was like, I had a life. Like, I got sober and then I worked my first year, you know, really, really hard on setting a foundation for my sobriety and going to meetings and working with my sponsor and all that kind of stuff. But then, you know, after that, it was like, okay, I have a job and I'm wanting to get into my master's program. I'm working hard on my life. I was, you know, was finishing up school. I wanted to go to graduate school, and I was serious about sobriety, taking that 100% serious with going to meetings and stuff. I was going to meetings like every single day, and, you know, working with a sponsor. I was in a relationship where I lived with somebody. You know, I had a best friend that I lived with at that time too. And so, you know, it was like I was busy. And so you can't hold on to all of it. And so some of these friendships kind of like went their separate ways a little bit. And not because, you know, we didn't like each other anymore, but because, you know, like, I'm working hard and, you know, in this relationship, and then, you know, my friend is like, he got a new job, and so that job, like, he had to travel a lot for it and whatever. Well, somehow between me getting into that relationship and me breaking up and starting to go out again when that boyfriend and I broke up, because when I started going out again, I saw him and he was hanging around a lot of people in the drug scene, and very specific, like the crystal meth scene, and had lost a lot of weight and was just in that whole scene, of which I don't know a lot of people from that. I know names of those people, some of them, because some of them I was friendly with, but like several of those people have passed away too. And I don't know what else they were using, but there was like 5 to 10 people that it's sad, you guys. It's just so sad, you know? And crystal methamphetamine just demolished the gay community. It just has demolished the gay community. And I have to say, you know, I talked the other night about being really thankful that I never started opioids or heroin. Equally, I am really happy. I mean, and just happy isn't even the right word. I mean, just I'm so grateful for never starting crystal methamphetamine when I was using, because I just don't think I would be here right now. Okay, my battery was completely dead and I didn't even know it. I didn't see it flashing or anything, so I had to change the battery. This battery is so hot. It was so funny on, but I have been vlogging for a while. I have literally no idea how long I've been vlogging for. It's been over an hour. It was so funny when I was saying on there, like back in the day with the battery, this is a couple days ago or yesterday or something, when I said something about the battery that would get really warm and get really hot. Do you guys remember that? And people were like, yeah, and the camera that would slide all the way over and stuff like that. I had totally forgotten about that too. Oh my God, the good old days of Peter Monn vlogging. We've come a long way, haven't we? I can't believe it's almost been 3 years that I have vlogged every single day on here. But when I was down at this intersection down there, because I had to wait to turn in somewhere, when I had been going that way, there was these 2 cars that were facing each other on the other side, and the one car in front was jumping the other car, you know, their battery. Well, somebody had come from behind and hit both of them. And so the police were out there. It was like this horrible accident. I mean, like, they were fine. They were okay. They were sitting in their cars. But, like, there was stuff all over the road and stuff. That's been, like, the 3rd accident I've passed tonight. So, anyway, yeah. I mean, I'm just very thankful that I don't know, that I never got into that, you know? I mean, my alcohol consumption was so horrible that whatever I would have ended up using, because whether it was Vicodin or pot or pills or whatever, you know, other pills, whatever I used in excess. So if it was going to be oxys or if it was going to be crystal meth, I would have used it in excess. Cocaine, I used in excess, you know? And I just don't think I'd be here, like my dad said. I just think I would be dead right now, you know? And it just makes me so sad. I turned the light off. A lot of really good people that have been lost. I'm like afraid that the battery is going to start blinking and then I'm going to realize that this battery is not charged, but I'm hoping that this battery is charged. So it hasn't started blinking yet. So I'm thinking that I did charge it, but I don't really remember. But yeah, a lot of really talented, great people, you know? Didn't I say I didn't want to talk about sad stuff tonight? Are you guys ready for Christmas? Okay, so on my list for the weekend, I had get my front deck done with Christmas stuff. Well, I did that. I'm very proud of myself. I also had mail out today all of my giveaways. I did that. And then I also have, well, except for the 2 Visa cards that I had to buy. I have those I still have to send out. And then, what was the other thing I wanted to do on there? Oh, put up my Christmas tree inside the house. So I still have to do that this weekend. So we'll get that done this weekend. And then we'll be ready for Christmas. It's been a good December so far, but it seems like it's going kind of fast. It's beginning to look a lot like Christmas. They're playing the, I can't pronounce this guy's name, Vince Guaraldi Trio, who's the one that did all the music for the Charlie Brown Christmas. I love that. I will say though, by the time that Christmas gets here, I'll be done with Christmas music. I've literally listened to so much Christmas music, and I'll probably be done with Christmas books because I'll have read 6 of them by then. And I'll probably be done with Christmas movies and cartoons because I've watched so many already. I just turn them on in the background. But I'd like to do some kind of like Christmassy kind of stuff. We're going over to Caroline's Christmas Day, and then we'll do Alex's family on Christmas Eve. It'll be either at his mom's house or it'll be at his brother's house, but probably at his brother's house, I'm assuming. And that will be like an all-night affair. Or it could be maybe at his aunt's house. Oh no, because I think that they're doing something else for Christmas this year, maybe. Maybe not. I don't know what they're doing for Christmas. But we usually either go over there or we go over to like Carlos and Liliana's. But we'll probably do it at Carlos and Liliana because of the kids, and then, you know, Santa Claus comes for the kids and stuff like that. So that's probably what we'll do. And that goes super late into the night. That goes to like 2 or 3. 4 or 5. It just depends. Everybody starts singing and whatever. Tanya got new neighbors, and they're Venezuelan, and so they were talking to her, and she was like really excited because these people that she had next to her for like they had lived there for a long time, and so she was afraid, like, you know, that they didn't know if the house would sell or who was going to move in there, if she liked the neighbors, because she really liked her old neighbors. So anyway, they moved in, and it's just like, I think it's this guy and his wife, and she really likes them. She said they're really nice, but he was like, okay, so we have a lot of like get-togethers, a lot of family get-togethers, and he was like, you know, it'll be loud and we'll have music and stuff, but I'll just let you know when we're gonna do that. And she was like, okay, it's not a problem and whatever. And he was like, well, I just want to like really explain to you, like, I don't think you have any idea. And she's like, my best friend's husband is Venezuelan. I think I get it. She was like, and I do think to some degree it is maybe, you know, a cultural thing. Every time I say that to other people that are Venezuelan, they always laugh. They're like, oh yeah, we like our parties. We like to stay up really, really late and dance and sing. You know, but even like the people that don't drink, because there's like a lot of people, you know, that don't drink within those parties and stuff, like they're dancing all night long and singing and talking and staying up. So it's not just like a drinking kind of situation. It's like they just love to be social and dance, and they love music, and music is a focal point of all of that, you know? So it's cool, it's fun, it's festive, it's really festive. And like Alex's mom was kind of explaining it to me, because like Alex explained it to me before, but she was like, you know, for us, she was like, you know, it's like the way that we look at it is it's like a celebration of the birth of Christ. And so we're celebrating, like we're happy, we're excited. When Alex was growing up, they would go for Christmas to the beach, and they would stay at the beach for like 2 or 3 days, and they would have all kinds of food, and the kids would play, and during the day they would, you know, but like at night they would like have fireworks and stuff like that. And it was just, you know, everybody would go to the beach for Christmas time, and it was this huge kind of like celebration at the beach. And that's what Alex remembers about Christmas, which is so funny, because like, you know, my memory of Christmas is, you know, very silent night and snow and putting, you know, cookies out for Santa Claus. And Alex's is, you know, the fireworks and, you know, music till 4 o'clock in the morning and stuff. They're playing all these Bing Crosby songs that I've never heard before. This one is called That Christmas Feeling. I think maybe I have heard that one before, but before they were playing another Christmas song. My hair looks so dead. Oh, Peter, you need to wash your hair and do it tomorrow. That's going to be what we're going to do tomorrow, first things first. And I just used a recovery motto on my hair, first things first. Keep it simple, stupid. But anyway, this guy's like looking over at me. He's like, why is this dude just like talking to himself in the car? Because I'm crazy. Did you ever look at a restaurant and you just think to yourself, like, that does not sound good whatsoever? I just looked over at Chipotle and I was like, I have no, like, Chipotle does not sound good to me at all. My husband literally could eat Chipotle any time of day, every day of the week. He loves Chipotle. I'll like sit and I'll call him and I'll be like, hey, babe, what's going on? He'll be like, oh, no, I just had lunch. I'm like, what did you have? Chipotle. It's either, like now, like it kind of changes every once in a while. For a while, he was just going to the Kroger deli and he was making a huge salad. But in the last, I would say 3 months, every single day, it's either Panera or Chipotle. Every single day. My husband eats Chipotle like nobody's business. I should probably just get him a $100 Chipotle gift card for Christmas. He'd be so pissed. He would be so pissed. He would be like, because I usually get him gift cards for Christmas because Alex likes to pick out. I mean, tonight, he was sitting there in the computer when we were talking and he was just like going through these websites looking at clothes. It's what he loves to do, you know? So I usually get him a gift card or two, you know, like one, where did I get him from last year? Urban Outfitters, because he likes Urban Outfitters, and I think, what's the other one? The one that I like now because of the shoes. Why can't I think of what it's called? Some Altos? Why can't I think of what that website is called? Anyway, I can't believe I can't remember what that website is called, but now he is like, my husband is addicted to Zara. Like, he loves Zara. And they have like a Black Friday website. Well, when we were in Miami, every time we go to Miami, we have to go to Zara. He's obsessed with Zara. Every time we go to Las Vegas, we have to go to Zara because he loves Zara. Why can't I think of that website? It's driving me crazy. Shoot. But anyway, so we had just been in Miami, you know, and he bought all this stuff at Zara, and then there was a Black Friday sale at Zara, and he bought like a pair of shoes. They are really cute. And then he bought like 2 pairs of pants and like 3 sweaters, and he got it all for like under $100. He loves that store. So oh my God, that's driving me crazy. Why can't I think of what that store is called? So that's probably what I'll do for him this year, is get him some gift cards, because he likes to, you know, have stuff. And then he saves his gift cards. I'll be like, he'll be like, well, I'm gonna go up and get this shirt today at such and such place. And I'm like, didn't you just go there the other day? And he'll be like, oh, well, I still have money on my gift card. Because like, he'll get like 3 gift cards from 3 different people, you know, for like Urban Outfitters or something like that. Urban Outfitters, like, their CEOs or execs apparently don't like gay people or whatever, which I think is so interesting because their guys' clothes are so kind of like aimed towards liberal-minded or maybe gay guys a little bit. So I think that's interesting, but I will tell you this about Urban Outfitters, and I can only speak for the men's clothes. I don't know about the women's clothes, but they do not like heavy people. Like, their clothes, if you are above an extra large at all, like even a little bit, like, they're not gonna fit you. You can forget it. I'm gonna have to pull into this post office over here and look up this website. I'm gonna have to go to this one person's Instagram, because everything that he wears is from this website, and I have to look it up because it's driving me crazy. ASOS. Now I don't have to pull in there. ASOS, that's what it is. I was like, what is that website, and why can't I remember it? It was driving me nuts. ASOS. Do you love this hairdo right here out to the side? Can we just talk about her right there? We're gonna name that Charlene. Hey, Charlene. What are you doing? Oh, girl, I'm just hanging out over here. Don't worry about me. This one right here, this hair that sticks out to the side, that's Charlene. Now, Charlene, this hair right here, okay, she's the girl at the bar that wears the real tight jeans and the cowboy boots, you know, and the halter top. And she sits over in the corner and she drinks a beer and she wonders why nobody wants to fall in love with her. And she's just real sad all the time. That's that hair right there. I love you, Charlene. You know you've lost your mind when you name your hair. lost your mind or you just don't care anymore. There was a day, true story, I am telling you, probably since I've been on YouTube, but definitely in my life, there was a day that I would never have gotten on video and ever even thought about publishing it. Is that what we call it, publishing it? Ever have thought about putting the video up with my hair looking like this. But I'm sorry, I just have to be comfortable and I do not care. Comfort is so important in life, isn't it? Especially when you get to that point where it's like, I really want to look nice. I really do. But like when you go out, like, you know, out on the town or out with your friends or whatever, and it's like, do I wear this outfit, which is super cute, but it's not comfortable? Or do I wear this outfit, which is not as cute, but it's comfortable? Well, whenever I wear the one that's more comfortable, I always have 100 times better time. So 10 times better time. I don't know, maybe 100, but you know what I mean? Like, I always have a better time when I go with comfort. So I try to always go with comfort. And it's part of like when you're heavier, it's like you just want to be comfortable. I don't know why I'm using so much lip balm tonight. I also don't remember my nails like bothering me so much in the winter. Can I just tell you something? I have an emery board in here. So one of those advent calendars that I did had this little emery board in it, which is like perfect for my fanny pack. And so I've been bringing this with me because my nails have been, it was funny because like Melissa got in the car the other day and I was like, she was like, are you filing your nails? I go, yeah. I go, my thumbnails are driving me crazy. She was like, you're so funny. I was like, well, I need to go get a pedicure and I haven't had one for a while. So before we go on vacation, that's going to be one of my goals, is to get a pedicure in the next 2 weeks, 3 weeks. We're like 2 weeks away, 3 weeks away from Christmas. 2.5 weeks away from Christmas. Oh my God. Are we on the 12th day of Christmas yet? Are we counting down the 12 days of Christmas yet? I don't even know. Oh man. I love that so many of you say that you wait until you go to bed to listen to my vlog and that it helps you go to sleep. And I just love that you guys just like lay there and listen to me as you fall asleep. I think it's kind of funny. I think it's interesting that like my entire life people have criticized me for my voice and made fun of my voice, and then people fall asleep to my voice, which is like really ultimately the nicest compliment, you know, that people find my voice soothing or something that helps them put them to sleep, you know, or so boring that they go to sleep or whatever. I don't know, it's just nice that you guys say that, just or that you want to even listen to what I have to say or anything, you know. It just is really, really meaningful, and I really appreciate it. It's the holiday season. Andy Williams, It's the Most Wonderful Time of the Year is on right now. It's the most wonderful time of... I don't know how it goes. I thought I did. Oh man. It's the most wonderful time of the year. That's how it goes. Do you ever like drive by strip malls that you... Now once I say this, you'll notice this. You drive by strip malls that you drive by every single day and you realize you've like never gone in some of these places. That place is called the Gratitude Boutique. I mean, I need some gratitude. I didn't even know there was a Dunkin' Donuts there, and it's drive-through, okay? That makes my life so much more convenient because it's kind of, not really, but it's kind of a little bit closer to my house. But just to know that that's over there in case I mean, I don't even know what's around me. I do feel like sometimes you just don't even observe the world that is around you. Now this neighborhood coming up here is the one that Tanya always makes me drive through. She's like, drive through this, we want to go see the Christmas lights. And we drive through there, and then every year, she's like, this isn't it. And I'm like, yeah, Tanya, this is it. She's like, no, this is not it, because the one that we go through has all of the lights. And I'm like, yeah, this is it. They just don't have as many lights as they used to have. People just aren't putting up lights as much anymore. And she's like, no, this isn't it. I know that this isn't it. And so then we go back out, and she'll say, okay, go back there. We go all the way around in a circle, and then she makes me come back because she only knows it from one way. Like, she doesn't know it from the other way. And so I'll start slowing down when we come up on the neighborhood, and she'll go, no, that wasn't it. Keep on going. And then we'll go, and there's no more neighborhoods after that. And she'll go, okay, turn around. I think that was the neighborhood. You're probably right. This is every year. This is what happens with us. Do you have that friendship where you know your French too well? We like to kid each other about our other friendships because we know that Tanya and I are like our best Judies ever. And so tonight she was hanging out with her, like this friend of hers that she's known for like 20, 30 years, you know, whose husband passed away a couple years ago, and Tanya was really close with too. And I said, you all are shopping, aren't you? And she said, yeah. I said, well, tell her I said hi, because I know her too, and she's real sweet. And this is the neighborhood right here. Oh, they do have a lot of lights up this year. Oh, Tanya Jean's gonna be so happy. But anyway, we'll have to drive through here just for a moment and see. So anyway, she said, I said, well, you know, I said, so what are you guys doing? She goes, oh, well, we're just shopping and whatever. And I said, oh, that's fun. I said, I would have liked to have gone shopping too. And she said, girl, if I had asked you, you wouldn't have gone. I said, that is not true. You do not know my life. And she said, okay, I'm going to ask you next time. And I said, well, I'm going to tell you what I'm going to do. See, none of the lights are on. They're all off. Maybe people turn them off when they go to bed, and that's why we don't see them. But every one of these houses used to have lights back in the day. I said, I'm going to tell you what I'm going to do, Tanya Jean. And she said, what? And I said, I'm going to turn around because I'll get lost if I go too far in here. Oh, I want to go buy these trees. They have these trees all lit up. These are pretty. I said, I'm going to buy you those heart necklaces that are split down the middle that say BFF forever, or BFF. And I said, I'm going to give that to you and her, and y'all can just wear those. And she goes, you know what? She goes, I'm going to get you the same necklace, and you can just hang that around Valerie's neck. I said, Tanya Jean! And she started laughing so hard. Oh, they have purple lights at their tree. Look at this. Isn't that pretty? I kind of like the purple lights. It's so pretty. Anyway. When you drive by some of these neighborhoods, and you know, like, well, they'll have those things on the, I don't see any right here. I don't know what made me think about this, but this is the kind of neighborhood that always has them. Where, like, over the garage, it'll say, like, Sally Joe, sophomore choir. And then it'll say, like, Sammy Joe, you know, senior football. Do you know what I'm talking about? Okay. Like, this is a neighborhood. Oh my God, that they did have one up there. Oh my God, I have to go back and look and see. Because that one had one. And I want to read it. I won't read the name, but I want to read it exactly how it was. Just so that I can. It's so far back there, though. I don't think I can see it. I can't. But it says... Shoot, I can't see it. It says soccer, though. Something, soccer. Someone, something, then something, something else underneath there. But anyway, but do you know what I'm talking about? When they have those, like, over the garages. There's another one right there. See, I knew this was the neighborhood that would have all these on there. They have Away in the Manger right there in their yard. But those are kind of like a new thing, like in the last 5 or 10 years. Like, we didn't have those back in the day when I was growing up. Not that I would have, you know, my mom, she would have had a sign over her garage that would have said, straight F student. But anyway, I'm like looking for one that I can actually read, because they're like far away. But, and I have that song stuck in my head. It's the holiday season. And dun 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 Dun, dun, dun. Those people over there, they had this cross that was like, you know, a lit up cross, but it was on this dead tree, and it just looked so depressing. I don't know why it reminded me of serial killers, but it did. It didn't remind me of Christmas at all. But anyway, these houses are nice in here. I didn't realize how nice these were in here. But anyway, do you guys know what I'm talking about? But I have to tell you what's funny is that when you drive around these neighborhoods for a long time, and Tanya Jean, like in her neighborhood, she has those like all over, you know, not on her house, but like people in her neighborhood have them. But when they don't take them down, and so like, you know, their kids are 25 and they still have it up, and it's like sophomore soccer, you know, and it's like they're 25 now. It's like, could you take that down? It was at the end again, and I didn't realize it. Man, I've been talking and talking and talking. I talk so much that I wore out a fully charged battery, okay? And now we are on battery number 2. Somebody said something about the 3-hour vlog, and then they were like, I think Rich commented on it. You know, it was originally Rich that wanted the 3-hour vlog. He commented on a vlog, and yes, people were like, do you listen to it? He listens to it every single day. It cracks me up. And, he'll like call me or text me and be like, oh, I'm listening to your vlog. He'll ask me like a question about it or something. But he was the one that originally put in the comment sections, I want a 3-hour vlog. Because he said something to me one night, and he was like, you should do a 3-hour vlog. I was like, oh girl. So anyway, then he put that in the comment section, and then people started saying they wanted a 3-hour vlog, or I mentioned it in a video or something. I don't remember how it started. But one of these nights I'll do a 3-hour vlog, but tonight's is going to be a long vlog. I don't know what this is, but this is longer than normal. It's longer than 20 minutes. And Charlene, she's still hanging out over here, lonely at the bar. Don't even worry about her. I drank so much water and Dr. Pepper and coffee. I'm gonna have to run into the restroom here somewhere in a little bit, but not yet, not yet. I keep on looking at myself in the camera and my hair looks so bad. And I'm so embarrassed that I don't even care, because I'm like wanting to reach for my hat and put it on, but I'm like, you guys have been like literally looking at it for a half an hour at this point. So it's like, if you cared, you would have cared a half an hour ago, but you wouldn't care now, you know what I mean? Peggy Lee singing the Christmas song. Do you guys love that Peggy Lee song? Is that all there is? Is that all there is to a circus? I love that song so much. That was like one of my favorite songs when I was growing up. Well, not when I was growing up, but like when I was in high school. And the reason why is I had seen this movie with Rosanna Arquette, and it's called After Hours. Have you guys ever seen it? It is such a great movie. And it's about this guy that gets like stuck. He has like one $20 bill, and he gets stuck in, I think it's Soho. This is like one of those like late 80s movies, like Desperately Seeking Susan and Slaves of New York. That Slaves of New York is such a fantastic movie with Bernadette Peters and Tama Janowitz. Oh my God, that movie is so good. Remember she created, I have to watch that movie again sometime. Bernadette Peters is like a hat designer. It's such a great movie. But anyway, it's like one of those kind of movies. And, you know, it was a different day back then, you know, it was a different era, and it was such a fun era. But anyway, I can't remember what the guy's name is, but he gets stuck in like Soho overnight, and then all of these people are like chasing him down and trying to get him, and he just wants to get home. Like, that's all he wants. And so he keeps on trying to get money for a cab to get home. And anyway, the movie is fantastic. It's called After Hours. I watched it years and years and years ago. I don't know the last time I saw this movie, but I was thinking about this the other day because I want to go into Amazon Prime and Hulu and stuff now that I have all these movies, and I want to see if some of these movies are on there, because like Into the Night with Jeff Goldblum and Michelle Pfeiffer. Well, anyway, okay, hold on real quick. So After Hours, that has Rosanna Arquette in it. That is one of my favorite movies from back then. I loved that movie. And there's this one part when they're trying to get him out of there. I don't want to ruin it if you haven't seen the movie, but anyway, that song, that Peggy Lee song, is in the movie, and that's how I originally heard that. That Peggy Lee, is that all there is to a circus? Anyway, but those movies back in the day, like, they don't make movies like that anymore. Like Into the Night with Jeff Goldblum and Michelle Pfeiffer. I have that movie on VCR tape. And I actually have it still in my office when I go over there to write or do whatever, you know. I'll just like sometimes put that movie in the background, just like sitting there, and I have it on in the background. And so I gotta figure out if I'm gonna keep my office or if I'm gonna get rid of it. I thought I was gonna keep it and turn it into like doing my review videos, maybe my Purisms videos over there and stuff like that, and having a place that I could go film like in the middle of the night if I wanted to, so that then I would just have my videos done for the next day. But I haven't really worked at all towards making it into that. I hardly ever go over there, but I mean, I kind of want to keep it because it's like such a great space that if I end up wanting to use it as like a studio or something, I can, or like a writing place, then I'll have it to go to, you know what I mean? Like I kind of want that, especially if we redo the house and then I want to like get up and like go somewhere to write, to do my videos, and then like I have that. And in the area of Broad Ripple where my office is, it's really hard to get good office space, especially really cute office space. And I have a big office. My landlords are fantastic. I really love them. I'm locked in on a certain rate that is completely affordable. And so I'm like, I don't really want to get rid of it. There's not really, you know, there's not really a reason to get rid of it right now unless I can't afford it, which right now that's not a problem. So I don't know. But anyway, but if I'm going to keep it, I need to use it because I'm not using it for anything and I hardly ever go over there. But anyway, I loved that movie, End of the Night. It's probably one of my top, I mean, in all honesty, it's probably one of my top 3 favorite movies of all time, End of the Night, with Michelle Pfeiffer and Jeff Goldblum. And it's about this guy that can't sleep. And so his friend tells him to go to the airport and fly to Las Vegas in the middle of the night. It's, I think Dan Aykroyd is his friend in the movie. And it might have been Jeff Goldblum, one of his very first movies. And so he goes, there's all these like cameos of famous people in it. Who's this? Why can't I think of the singer? Oh God, why can't I? David Bowie. Is it David Bowie? I feel like it's David Bowie that has like a cameo in it. There's a lot of, oh, is it? Anyway, there's a lot of people that have cameos in it. It's fantastic. And it's funny, but it's kind of like a thriller at the same time. And so he picks up this girl, Michelle Pfeiffer, from the airport, and she's just flown back from Iran. And she has like 6 perfect emeralds, and that she like smuggled out of Iran, and when the Shah fell. And so they're like, it's them going all through Los Angeles, Hollywood one night, and they're being chased by all these people. And I used to love these kind of adventure movies like Romancing the Stone and Jewel of the Nile, which was the sequel to that. And I loved, I was thinking about this the other night, Kim Basinger, that was in Nadine, that was a great movie. And Ruthless People, and, oh, what was the movie with? Outrageous Fortune, that was with Shelley Long and Bette Midler. That was great too. You know, all of the, and you know, Ruthless People with Bette Midler, and there's just all these movies that were kind of like adventure movies, this adventure comedy, thriller kind of thing. I loved those. They don't really make those anymore. I would say like the closest to it is kind of like Melissa McCarthy kind of does those kind of movies. But I feel like I'm like one of the only people, like whenever I mention her movies to people, like a lot of people don't like her movies. Like I thought her movie Tammy was fantastic. I thought that was so good. I thought the movie, what do you call it, with Jason Bateman, Stolen Identity or whatever that was called. I loved that movie. I thought it was so funny because that was such a throwback to me of that era of those movies. Those movies that were like, they're on the run and, you know, like they stay in a hotel overnight on like a stolen credit card, you know, like, you know what I mean? Like that kind of movie. Like I really like that. In fact, I have to say, like one of the best thrillers I think I've seen, not really necessarily a thriller, but one of the best kind of like those kind of movies I've seen in a long time was, is it Ocean's 8? Or I don't know what Ocean's it is, but it's the one with all of the women and Sandra Bullock is in it. I really liked that one. That was really good. That's an Ocean's movie, isn't it, that I watched this year? I thought that was so well done. I really liked it. I really liked it. What are all these cars doing at this church? Did you guys ever have lock-ins at your church? I grew up going to a church, but I never did the lock-ins. I didn't really like to participate in anything that was like an organized, function. Whether that was anything, dances or sporting events at school or anything. I didn't like to do any of that kind of stuff. But now in retrospect, I think I wish I would have done some of those things. I would have participated a little bit more. I really am swinging topics tonight, aren't I? I mean, one second I'm talking about movies from the 80s, and the next thing I'm talking about lock-ins, and then the next thing I'm talking about, But I do remember, like, we would do these, like, when I was growing up, like, in junior high, I remember, like, in 6th grade, they did a lock-in at the ice stadium, and I can remember, like, everybody that I knew, like, I had these 2 girlfriends, and they were doing it, and I didn't want to get picked on. And so I didn't do it, and that was like one thing that I really wished I had done, because, or like, I can remember, I mean, not now looking back on it, it's been, so many years, but at that time, I can remember right afterwards, like, everybody was talking about it, and I was like, I wish I had done this lock-in, But I was always worried that somebody would be making fun of me, or, that it would not be a fun experience, or, I just didn't know. I didn't know what it is. I know that you guys love me. I'm just going to say this in there, okay? For the people that are going to question it, and they always say it, and then they go, I love you. I'm just going to say this, okay? When you're watching this vlog tonight, remember, this is not a 15-minute video, okay? This is a hour-and-a-half vlog or whatever. There might be a few more ads in here than you would see in a 15-minute video, okay? So, there are people that are putting as many ads as I put in an hour-long vlog in a 15-minute video. So when people get upset about that, they're like, oh, there's a lot of ads in there. Yes, I realize that, but this is an hour and a half. I'm not making excuses. I'm just saying, yes, I understand that. I will own that all day long. But this is an hour-and-a-half long vlog. This isn't a 10 or 15-minute video. My stomach is starting to kick a little bit, and I don't know why. I'm just saying that because people always like, if the vlog is longer and I add in a couple more ads, people are like, oh my God, there's so many ads in this. And I'm like, yeah, and it's also 40 minutes longer than it usually is, or half an hour longer, right? And, but then I feel bad. But I know that when you look at the vlog and you see it, and it's like, oh my God, there's so many ads in there. But if you're looking at a video screen and it's 15 minutes, and you're looking at a video screen and it's 2 hours, it doesn't look any different to our faces, what we see there. But the ads, it seems like a lot more. So I totally understand why that is, but I also want to explain why I would put more in there, Not to mention, and I'm sure nobody believes this, but it doesn't really matter, I literally make, like, hardly anything off these vlogs, you guys. Like, maybe enough to fill my gas tank, but I do it because I love it. And I could sit at home, I know, and not drive around. That's on me. I realize that, but so you guys want to see these Christmas lights coming up? Hold on a second. Look at this. Can you see it? These are like the ginormous houses right here. Like, I think this is like a Colts player. Can you see? They're so pretty. Anyway. Oh, I'm back. Merry Christmas. So what other things do you guys have to get done before Christmas? I haven't done any Christmas shopping yet. None. Hell, I don't even have my Christmas tree up yet. I have confirmed Christmas Day. That's one thing I've done. And we booked our New Year's trip, so that's done. I'm excited about that. But, yeah, what else I haven't really gotten anything else done for Christmas. I need to do Christmas shopping, and then after I get that done, I mean, really, what else is there, When people always are like, I have to get ready for Christmas, I have to get ready for Christmas. I don't know what that really means. Like, what all do you guys have to do to get ready for? Well, probably a lot of you, like, cook and things like that. But, you know, I know that, I was going to say Tanya Jean. I know Caroline wants us to bring some stuff for Christmas, because I said to her this year, or the other day, I was like, maybe it was before Thanksgiving. I called her and we were talking, and I said, what do you need me to bring for Christmas? And she was like, well, if I tell you to bring something, are you going to make sure that you bring it? I said, Caroline, when have you ever said to bring something that I haven't brought? I used to always have to bring the relish tray, and I always brought the relish tray. I've even talked about that on here. I used to always have to bring rolls. I brought rolls. So I was like, well, what do you want us to bring? And she was like, well, I don't know. I'll let you know. Probably nothing. We're good. And I go, no, don't say that. Like, if you want us to bring something, say it. And she started laughing. She was like, oh my God, you're so funny. And I go, why am I so funny? And she goes, oh my God, you're so funny. And I go, just tell me what you want me to bring and I'll bring it. So, you know, it's just not that deep. Will I be at home cooking some macaroni and cheese and stuff? No, I won't be. I'll be going to Costco and buying it, because they have fantastic macaroni and cheese. Which, by the way, for Friendsgiving at our friend's house, I love how I say that, I bought, the, what do you call it, mac and cheese from Costco, and, like, I think because it had milk in it, you had to use it by a certain day, and we didn't, because we didn't take it over there, because they already had mac and cheese, and so, yeah, I didn't take it, and it's been sitting in our refrigerator, and now it's bad. Like, we have to throw it out bad. It's like that bad. So yeah, that was a waste of money. Not happy about that. Such a still night. I always notice, like, when I'm driving around, like, you know, if it's like raining and thundering and it's like kind of crazy outside, like, or it's completely still. And tonight, like, it's so still, and it's Friday night, which is kind of crazy too. I mean, of course it's late, but it's so still. Like, there really aren't any other cars out on the road. It's always crazy to me, you know, that there's not that many other people out, especially in the weekends. I don't think people go out as much as they used to. And I think if they do, most people probably take Ubers and Lyfts now. I feel like the whole world has been changed by Uber and Lyft. And what's so weird about it is, I remember when they first came out, and people started talking about them. And I can remember thinking to myself, this is not going to take off. Like, this is just not going to happen. God, I was wrong. I wish I had invested in some of these things. Isn't it weird how you look at the future and you think it's going to be one way, and then it's a completely different way, you know what I mean? And you're like, this is crazy. Anyway, you guys, I think I'm going to get off here now. I have no idea how long I've been vlogging for, but it's been a while, so I'm going to get off here now. And I hope you guys are having the most amazing, incredible, fantastic, happiest Saturday of your entire life. No, I really do. And if you aren't, turn it around. Sit there and say, okay, today has been crap, but I'm going to turn it around. I'm going to have a better day going forward. And if you're going to bed tonight, sweet dreams. And tuck yourself in, pull your comforters up, stay warm, sweet dreams. And when you wake up tomorrow, you're going to have the most amazing day of your life. Because Peter said it so. Because Peter said so. And what I say goes. Did you guys ever see Babe, Pig in the City? The dog says what the pig says goes, see? I used to say that all the time. I don't know why. The dog says what the pig says goes, see? Anyway, if nobody else has told you this today, I love you. Oh my God, I love that movie Babe so much. When he gets down, he goes, I miss my mom. I love that scene. Oh my God, that scene is so sweet. Babe, such a cute movie. Pig in the City is good too. But anyway, if nobody else has told you this today, I love you. It's starting to go out of focus, so you know that it is truly time for Peter to stop his vlog. make sure that you do your daily affirmations on every single day, and that you look in your mirror and you say, I love you, you are valuable, you are important. Even your hair, Charlene, deserves to be loved. Love every bit of yourself. Learn to laugh at yourself, learn to love yourself, and do your positive affirmations and tell yourself that you love yourself every single day. And then, most importantly, make sure that you pass it on and let somebody else know how much they mean to you and how much you care about them. And yeah, and let them know. And yeah, we gotta let people know how much they mean to us in our lives. And you guys mean the world to me, and thank you for watching all of this craziness. And if you made it to this very last minute, please leave a blue heart below. I love you guys, and I will see you tomorrow. Bye. Love ya! One last love ya for you all. Love ya. Bye. Love ya!